It's day 2 of whitening my teeth with charcoal, and I think it's starting to work.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. You see, because it is working, but not in the way that you think. You see, for years and years, people have thought that for some reason whitening strips and hydrogen peroxide is bad for you and it's going to hurt your enamel because it causes sensitivity. Now, the reason it causes sensitivity is not because it's damaging your enamel, it's because you have these little holes in your teeth called enamel tubules, and those link directly inside to your tooth where your nerve is, where you can feel sensitive. And the hydrogen peroxide has to go into your teeth to whiten from the inside out. And unfortunately, in that process of doing that, it breaks together all these organic things that have plugged in those holes, making it to where air and stuff couldn't get into the nerve of your tooth. Now, this is actually worse on the roots of your teeth and why you're so sensitive whenever you have gum loss and your roots are showing, because those enamel tubules are really tight. The dentinal tubules of the root are really big, so they let air in really well. Now, normally bone and gum cover it, so if you have gum loss and root showing, that's why you're so sensitive. But anyways, back to the whitening. So hydrogen peroxide breaks down those organic plugs, per se. It whitens the tooth on the inside, and then for a day or two, you're gonna be a little bit sensitive sometimes, especially at higher percentage levels, until those organic plugs form. Now, the other way of doing it is through things like charcoal toothpaste or whitening powders and things like that. Now, these came about as a thing to say, hey, you don't have to use hydrogen peroxide, so use these instead. But unfortunately, this is doing the complete opposite of what you want. You see, because charcoal toothpaste and all these things are abrasives. They're very much like if you just took sandpaper, made it into sandpaper dust, and brushed your teeth with it, that is basically what you're doing. It is not intrinsically whitening, going into the tooth and whitening from the inside out. It is literally ripping off your teeth. Every time you brush, it is doing a little bit of a sandpaper move on the front of your teeth. But Bentis, my teeth are getting whiter, what gives? Well, of course they're getting whiter. You're literally ripping off the external stain that's on the front of the tooth. Now, here's where the really big issue comes in. If you continue to use this charcoal toothpaste like this, you're going to wear away your enamel. And over time, the enamel will get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And then all of a sudden, you're going to notice that your white teeth start to look yellow, really yellow. And that's because your enamel is actually clear. You look through your enamel into the inside dentin layers of your teeth, and that is where the yellowness or whiteness of your teeth come from, is how stained the inside of your tooth is, not the outside. And so as that clear enamel will get thinner and thinner, you have less clear enamel, meaning that you see more and more of the dentin, meaning your teeth get yellower, yellower, and yellower. And the other big side effect is that you get very, very sensitive because you have that protective enamel layer shrinking every single day you're using it. And unfortunately, there is no way to fix this other than maybe getting a veneer or a filling or something like that to cover back up all of those holes. So is it working for now? Yes, but it's doing it in the wrong way. You need to use something like a carbamide peroxide or a hydrogen peroxide. Yes, it may cause sensitivity, or unless you have our new LumiSmart, which is actually 2 times stronger than our competitors with 60% less sensitivity because it only goes on the front of the teeth. It's amazing. So there are whitening options now, like ours, that have hydrogen peroxide that have very little to no sensitivity. Ours actually 60% less sensitivity than every other whitening strip on the market. And what you need to do is completely avoid things that rip away and harm your enamel, like charcoal toothpaste or whitening powders or anything like that. Because trust me, once you harm that enamel, there's no getting it back.